Hi, and welcome back to Reddit Whispers. If you're joining us for the first time, this is where we dive deep into the raw, unfiltered stories pulsing through the internet's veins. Tales of love, betrayal, and those seismic moments that force you to rebuild your life from the rubble. I'm your host, and today, I'm not just narrating someone else's confession. I'm peeling back the layers of my own life, exposing a wound that's still tender to the touch. This is personal. A grueling odyssey through suspicion, heartbreak, and the slow, messy climb toward healing. We're not starting with the fairy tale beginning, but at the moment my world imploded. A single text that shattered everything I thought I knew. I've woven in my reflections, a dash of humor to keep the darkness from swallowing me whole, and lessons learned the hard way. Because if you can't find a flicker of light in the chaos, what's the point? Inspired by real events, I've reshaped this story with my voice to make it unique. Crafted for you, my listeners. Buckle up. This is a long one, clocking in at around 35 minutes, packed with twists, turns, and raw emotion. Let's dive in. It's a frosty November evening in 2024. The kind where the wind howls through the bare branches outside and the neighborhood is cloaked in the quiet of early winter, with only the occasional glow of porch lights breaking the darkness. I'm in the living room of our two-story home, a modest fixer-upper we bought in 2020 after years of scraping by in cramped apartments that never felt like ours. This house is our pride and joy, creaky hardwood floors that groan with every step, a fireplace we light on chilly nights to roast marshmallows with the kids, and a backyard where I spent a sweltering summer hammering together a treehouse, complete with a rope ladder and a slide that our kids adore. Our son, Liam, 8, and daughter, Sophie, 6, are upstairs in their rooms, finally asleep after the usual bedtime marathon. Tonight's routine was a battle. Brushing teeth, negotiating one more story. Sophie's obsessed with the very hungry caterpillar despite outgrowing it, while Liam demanded I read his dinosaur encyclopedia for the third time this week, and tucking them in with promises of pancakes tomorrow. I'm 36, a software engineer at a mid-sized tech firm, the kind of guy who thrives on untangling complex algorithms and debugging code late into the night. My wife, let's call her Mia, is 34, a freelance copywriter who works from home, juggling client deadlines with PTA meetings, soccer practices, and the chaos of parenting. We've been together for 11 years, married for 7, and I thought we had the blueprint for a solid life. Love, family, a home filled with laughter and crayon drawings. Or so I believed. I'm sprawled on our worn leather couch, a fleece blanket draped over my legs, scrolling through my phone to unwind after a grueling day of virtual meetings and a particularly stubborn bug in a payment processing system. The TV hums softly in the background, a documentary about Mars exploration that I'm only half watching, my mind still lingering on a work email I need to answer. My phone vibrates, a text from an unknown number. I assume it's spam, maybe another robocall about my car's extended warranty, or a fake delivery alert for a package I never ordered. But the message stops me cold. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your wife's been seeing my best friend for months. I have proof if you want it. Call me. My heart slams against my ribcage, a jolt like tripping in the dark and falling down a flight of stairs. I reread it, then a third time, the words blurring as my hands tremble. This isn't a thriller novel or a Netflix drama. This is my life, in my living room, surrounded by Liam's dinosaur drawings pinned to the fridge, Sophie's glittery art projects scattered on the coffee table, and Mia's scarf slung over the armchair. The room feels smaller, the air heavier, like the walls are closing in, pressing against my chest. Mia is out tonight at what she called a client dinner for a high-stakes advertising campaign she's been pitching for weeks. She left around 5:30, dressed in a sharp navy blazer and pencil skirt, her dark hair curled just so, a dab of that vanilla-scented perfume she knows I love, the one that always takes me back to our early days. "Don't wait up, hun," she said with a quick kiss on my cheek, her smile warm and familiar, the kind that used to make my heart skip. Now that smile feels like a mask,
a carefully crafted facade hiding something I can't yet grasp. I don't reply to the text immediately. Instead, I pace the living room, the floorboards creaking under my weight, each step echoing the pounding in my head. My mind is a hurricane spinning through the past year, searching for clues I missed. Had there been signs? Mia's been distant, not cold exactly, but distracted, like her mind was elsewhere. She'd snap over small things, me leaving dishes in the sink after a late-night coding session, forgetting to sign Sophie's permission slip for a field trip. Her phone was always close, face down on the counter, buzzing with notifications she'd check quickly, brushing off my questions with a breezy, just work stuff. She'd started going to the gym more often, coming back flushed and energized in a way that seemed off, not quite matching the usual post-workout glow. I'd tease her, trying to become a bodybuilder or what? And she'd laugh, swatting my arm, but her eyes wouldn't meet mine, darting away like she was hiding something.
There were other clues, subtle but piling up like snowdrifts in a storm. New clothes in her closet, sleek dresses, silky blouses I didn't remember her buying, not the practical mom wear she used to favor. A new perfume, not the vanilla I loved, but something sharper, floral, almost defiant. She'd mentioned a new colleague vaguely, someone she was collaborating with on projects, but never gave details. Late nights on her laptop, typing with a secretive smile that made my stomach twist, like she was living a life I wasn't part of. She started going to the gym 3 times a week, coming back with a glow that seemed more than just endorphins. I'd tease, trying to outrun me in the next 5K? And she'd laugh, but it was hollow, her eyes darting away. I felt flickers of jealousy, little sparks that I smothered with logic. She's busy, stressed. She's allowed to look nice, to have a life outside the house. Trust was our foundation, wasn't it? We built this life together. 2 kids, a home, shared dreams of growing old on a porch swing somewhere. Doubting her felt like betraying the woman who'd stayed up with me through my mom's cancer scare, who'd thrown a surprise party for my 30th birthday, who'd painted our house with me, laughing as we got more paint on ourselves than the walls. But now that text is a sledgehammer, and the cracks in our foundation are impossible to ignore. Let's rewind, because to feel the weight of this betrayal, you need to know what we built before it all started to crumble. We met in 2013 at a mutual friend's birthday party in a crowded bar downtown, the kind with sticky floors and too loud music. I was 24, fresh out of college with a computer science degree, starting my first tech job, living in a dumpy apartment with roommates who left pizza boxes stacked like modern art. Mia was 22, a recent grad working as a junior copywriter at a small agency, brimming with ambition and a laugh that cut through the bar's noise like a beacon. I bumped into her at the counter, spilling a bit of my beer on her shoe. Classic, clumsy me. "Smooth move," she said, grinning, not a hint of annoyance in her voice. I apologized profusely, offered to buy her a gin and tonic, and we ended up talking until last call, oblivious to the party around us. She shared her dream of crafting ad campaigns that changed the world, like those iconic Apple ads from the 90s. I geeked out about coding, how it was like solving puzzles that made the digital world tick. By the end of the night, I had her number, and our first date was a week later, a picnic in the park with my terrible homemade sandwiches. Too much mustard, not enough ham. She pretended to love them, and I knew I was hooked.
Those early days were pure magic, the kind you wish you could bottle and sip on tough days. We'd spend hours exploring the city, art galleries where she'd point out the brilliance in vintage ad posters, dive bars where I'd ramble about my latest app prototype on a napkin. Our first kiss was under a streetlight after a late movie, rain starting to fall, like a scene we'd laugh about later for its rom-com cliché. We moved in together in 2014, a cozy 1-bedroom apartment with a view of the park, creaky pipes, and a balcony where we'd sip coffee on Sunday mornings, wrapped in a blanket, planning our future. Life was simple. Movie nights with cheap wine and microwave popcorn, cooking experiments that often ended in pizza delivery, late-night talks about our dreams, a big family, a house with a yard, maybe a dog someday. We settled on a goldfish named Bubbles, who didn't survive our first winter.
We'd debate silly things like whether pineapple belongs on pizza. I'm team no, she was firmly team yes. And serious things, like our fears, hers of being stuck in a mundane life, mine of failing those I loved. Our son, Liam, arrived in 2017, a surprise that shifted our world like a tectonic plate. I remember the hospital, Mia gripping my hand through 20 hours of labor, her strength humbling me as she brought him into the world. His first cry, a tiny, fierce wail, rewrote my heart, making me a dad in an instant. Sophie followed in 2019, our little firecracker with Mia's hazel eyes and my stubborn streak, born on a snowy February night that kept us snowed in at the hospital for 2 days. We upgraded to this house in 2020, a fixer-upper we poured our hearts into. I spent weekends painting Liam's room blue with dinosaur murals he helped design, while Mia turned Sophie's room into a pink wonderland with fairy lights and a canopy bed. Family vacations became our tradition, a road trip to the beach where we built sandcastles that collapsed under waves, camping in the woods where Mia taught the kids to roast marshmallows without setting the forest on fire. Holidays with extended family where laughter and chaos filled the air. I'd watch Mia with our kids, reading bedtime stories with silly voices, bandaging scraped knees, braiding Sophie's hair, and think, this is it. This is what forever looks like.
Our wedding in 2017 was intimate, held in a botanical garden under a canopy of twinkling fairy lights. Mia wore a flowing ivory dress, her smile brighter than the August sun. I choked up during my vows, promising, through every storm, I'll be your anchor. She cried, her voice steady as she said, you're my home. We danced to Can't Help Falling in Love, swaying under the stars, surrounded by family and friends who toasted to our future. I thought we'd crack the code to a good life. Love, kids, a home we made ours with every nail I hammered, every wall we painted. I proposed in 2016 on a whim during a camping trip, under a starlit sky, the ring, a vintage piece from my grandmother's collection that I'd saved months to restore. Mia tackled me in a hug, saying yes before I finished the question, her laughter echoing through the pines. Those memories were our foundation, solid as concrete, or so I thought. But as the years rolled on, cracks began to form. Subtle at first, like hairline fractures in a foundation you don't notice until the house starts to tilt. My job got more demanding, promotions meant longer hours, debugging code at midnight, occasional travel for client meetings in different cities. I'd come home exhausted, my brain fried from staring at screens, barely able to muster energy for more than a quick love you before collapsing into bed. Mia's freelance career took off. She was talented, landing big clients for national ad campaigns, but the stress was relentless. Tight deadlines, picky clients, late-night revisions that kept her glued to her laptop. Our connection frayed, not all at once, but gradually, like a rope worn thin. Date nights became rare, intimacy sporadic, replaced by quick pecks and tired smiles. We'd bicker over small things. Me forgetting our anniversary, twice, I'm ashamed to admit. Her overspending on client gifts to impress them. Me leaving my coding books scattered on the kitchen table. Her overbooking our weekends with work events. But we'd make up, sharing a bottle of wine on the back porch, watching fireflies, promising to carve out more time for us. I chalked it up to the grind of life. 2 kids, demanding careers, a mortgage. This was normal, right? Every couple goes through ebbs and flows. Now I see the ebb was pulling her away, and I was too busy staring at my laptop to notice. There were signs, looking back, like breadcrumbs I didn't see. Mia started taking extra care with her appearance. New dresses, silky blouses, a fresh haircut that made her look younger, sharper. A new perfume, not the vanilla I loved, but something floral, bold, like she was asserting a new version of herself. She'd mention a new colleague, vaguely, someone she was collaborating with on projects, but never gave a name or details. Her phone buzzed more often, notifications she'd check quickly, tilting the screen away when I glanced over. Work stuff, she'd say with a smile, but it felt rehearsed. Late nights on her laptop, typing with a secretive smile that made my stomach twist, like she was living a life I wasn't invited to. She started going to the gym 3 times a week, coming back with a glow that seemed more than just endorphins. I'd tease, trying to outrun me in the next 5K? And she laughed, but it was hollow, her eyes darting away. I felt flickers of jealousy, little sparks that I smothered with logic. She's busy, stressed. She's allowed to look nice, to have a life outside the house. Trust was our bedrock, wasn't it? Doubting her felt like betraying the woman who'd stayed up with me through my mom's chemo, who'd thrown a surprise party for my 30th birthday, who'd painted our house with me, laughing as we got more paint on ourselves than the walls. But now, that text is a sledgehammer, and the cracks in our foundation are impossible to ignore. Back to that November night. Mia walks in at 10:30, her cheeks flushed from the cold, hanging her coat on the rack by the door. "Hey, babe, good night?" she asks, heading to the kitchen for a glass of water, her voice light, like nothing's wrong. I can't speak at first, my throat tight as a vice, my heart pounding so loud I'm sure she can hear it. I hold up the phone, show her the text. Her face collapses, shock, then fear, her eyes wide like a deer caught in headlights. "What is this?" I manage, keeping my voice low to avoid waking Liam and Sophie. She stammers, "It's a mistake. Someone messing with you, probably a prank." But her hands tremble as she sets the glass down, water sloshing over the edge, and I know it's not a prank. I tell her I'm going to call the sender, that they mentioned proof, screenshots, messages. Her knees buckle, and she slumps onto the couch, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry," she sobs, her voice breaking. "It was a mistake. A stupid, stupid mistake. Please, let me explain."
Her story pours out, each word a knife twisting in my chest. It started in February 2024, during a high-pressure ad campaign for a national client. The best friend from the text is Jake, a graphic designer she collaborated with on the project. He was charming, attentive, listening when she vented about the stress. Client demands, parenting, feeling like a shadow of her vibrant self. Coffee meetings at a local cafe turned into lunches, then deeper conversations over drinks, sharing dreams and frustrations. It became emotional, filling a void she felt at home. "It was like I was drowning," she says, her voice barely above a whisper, "and he threw me a lifeline." It escalated to something physical, a few stolen moments over the months in hotel rooms or his apartment when I thought she was at client meetings. It ended in August, she swears, tears streaming. The guilt was eating me alive. I cut him off, blocked his number, his email, everything. I chose you, our family, our life. The October timestamp on the proof? An old photo she sent to Jake in August to end things clearly, she claims, to make sure he understood it was over. I was trying to be honest with him, to close that chapter for good. Her words hit like a barrage of punches. Blaming my absence stings, but I can't deny my role. I was buried in work, lost in lines of code, thinking providing for our family was enough. I'd come home late, barely present, my mind still debugging errors while Mia handled bedtime alone, juggled client calls, and kept our household running. But the betrayal? That's on her. The lies cut deepest, first denying it, then admitting it only when cornered. "Why didn't you tell me?" I ask, my voice breaking despite my effort to stay steady. "I was terrified," she whispers, her hands covering her face. "I didn't want to lose you, the kids, everything we've built. I thought I could bury it, move on, be the wife you deserve." She's on her knees now, sobbing, begging for forgiveness, but I can't look at her. My vision blurs with tears I refuse to let fall. I retreat to the guest room, a cramped space with a lumpy mattress, a flickering lamp, and a pile of laundry I haven't folded. I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, memories flashing like a slideshow. Our first vacation, a road trip to the coast where we got lost and ended up at a dive bar, laughing until our sides ached. Liam's birth, Mia's strength through labor, Sophie's first word, data, that made my heart soar. Now, It's all tainted. Was she thinking of Jake during our quiet family dinners? Did she compare us in those moments when we were supposed to be a team? The questions gnawed at me, relentless, like a program stuck in an infinite loop.
The next morning is pure torture. I call in sick to work, first time in years, my boss surprised but sympathetic when I mumble about a family emergency. The kids wake early, bounding downstairs, oblivious to the storm brewing. Mia makes pancakes, her eyes red and puffy, forcing a smile as she flips them onto plates with dinosaur-shaped syrup designs for Liam. Sophie chatters about her school art project, a painting of our family she's proud of. Liam asks, "Why is Mom sad? Is it allergies again?" Mia nods, her voice tight, blaming seasonal pollen. I play along, ruffling his hair, but inside I'm splintering, the weight of her betrayal crushing me. After dropping the kids at school, Liam waving with his dinosaur backpack, Sophie clutching her stuffed bunny, I come home and confront Mia again. "Show me everything," I demand, my voice sharper than I intend. She hands over her phone, trembling, and opens her laptop. Recovered texts, emails, call logs, all confirming her timeline. A flurry of messages to Jake from February to August 2024, then nothing, no recent contact. Relief creeps in, but it's drowned by rage and hurt. "Why him?" I ask, my voice raw. "He was there," she says, her eyes downcast. "He saw me when I felt invisible. But it's over. I'll do anything to fix this, to prove I choose you." I call the text sender, Claire, later that day, needing the full picture. Her voice is sharp, laced with her own pain. "Jake's my best friend, but what he did was wrong," she says. "He's engaged, and I found the messages on his phone. I couldn't stay silent." She sends the screenshots, texts from Mia to Jake, full of affection, planning meetups at cafes, hotels, even a weekend work trip I now realize was a lie. Most are dated February to August 2024, but one photo has an October timestamp, contradicting Mia's claim it ended in August. My heart sinks deeper, a stone in a bottomless well. Is she still lying? I show Mia the evidence that evening, after the kids are in bed. She panics, swearing the photo is old, sent in August to end things, its timestamp skewed by Jake's phone syncing old backups to the cloud. "I was trying to be clear with him, to make sure he'd leave me alone," she insists, her voice desperate. I want to believe her, but trust is shattered glass, sharp and impossible to piece back together without cutting yourself.
Let's pause for a moment, because this isn't just about the betrayal. It's about the why, the how, and the what now. Infidelity doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's a symptom of deeper cracks, ones we ignored until they split wide open. Mia felt invisible, her identity as a mom and freelancer swallowing the vibrant woman she used to be, the one who'd dance in the kitchen to old jazz records, who'd write poetry on napkins and slip them into my lunch bag. I was absent, not just physically but emotionally, lost in my work, thinking paying the mortgage and college funds was enough love. I'd come home, head in my laptop, while she handled bedtime, school forms, and client calls alone. It's not an excuse for what she did, but understanding the root helps navigate the wreckage. In humor, picture me, a software engineer who lives for logic, trying to debug my marriage at 2 a.m., Googling how to survive infidelity while surrounded by empty coffee mugs and a half-eaten bag of chips. It's pathetic, but it's real. Life doesn't hand you a manual for this. You stumble through, hoping not to crash entirely. We booked couples therapy that afternoon, a counselor recommended by a colleague who'd been through a rough patch in his own marriage. The first session is the next week, and I'm dreading it. Airing our dirty laundry to a stranger feels like defeat. The days leading up are a haze. I stay in the guest room, the isolation like a weight pressing on my chest. The mattress sags, the lamp flickers, and I lie awake, haunted by images of Mia with Jake, laughing, sharing secrets, living a life I wasn't part of. Work is a nightmare. I'm on autopilot, botching code, zoning out in meetings. My team notices, one guy pulling me aside. "You okay, man? You look like you haven't slept in weeks." I mumble about family stuff, deflecting, but my hands shake as I type. At home, the tension is palpable, thick as fog. Mia tries, cooking my favorite chili with cornbread, leaving apology notes on my pillow that read, "I'm so sorry. I'll do whatever it takes." She deletes her social media apps, shares her phone and laptop passwords, even offers to track her location 24/7. It's a start, but it feels like a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
The kids sense the shift. Their little radar is picking up on the strain. Sophie clings to me more, her small arms wrapping around my leg when I come home, asking, "Are you mad at Mommy?" Liam's quieter, his usual chatter about dinosaurs replaced by sullen stares, and he gets into a scuffle at school, unusual for him. We sit them down one evening, me and I forcing smiles, and explain vaguely, "Mom and Dad are working through some grown-up stuff, but we love you so much, and that'll never change." Sophie nods, clutching her bunny. Liam shrugs but looks unconvinced, his eyes searching ours for answers we can't give. It breaks my heart, knowing their world is wobbling because of us. Therapy starts, and it's raw, like peeling back skin to expose nerves. Our counselor, Dr. Harris, a middle-aged woman with a calm voice and sharp insights, doesn't sugarcoat things. In our first session, she asks us to recount our history, the good, the bad, the moments that defined us. We talk about our early days, the laughter, the kids' births, the house we made a home, then the hard stuff, the distance, the stress, the silences that grew between us. Infidelity is a symptom, Dr. Harris says, her pen poised over her notebook. What was missing before it happened? Mia breaks down, admitting she felt like a task robot, her creativity and spark buried under motherhood and work. "I stopped feeling like me," she says, her voice trembling. "I was just the mom, the worker, the wife, no room for anything else." I confess my part, my voice thick. I buried myself in work thinking providing was enough. I didn't see her struggling. It's the first time I've said it out loud, and it hurts, like admitting I failed her.
My dad left when I was 10, leaving me with a fear of abandonment and a drive to control my world through work and logic. Mia's mom was critical, always pointing out flaws, leaving her craving validation from others. That need for approval made Jake's attention addictive, she admits, tears spilling. It's painful to hear, like salt in an open wound, but it's honest, and that's a start. Session 4 tackles the affair's details, brutal but necessary. Mia recounts how Jake filled a void, listening when she felt unheard, making her feel seen when she was invisible at home. "It wasn't about you not being enough," she says, looking at me for the first time in days. "It was about me feeling lost." I nod, but the anger burns. Why didn't she come to me? Why him? Dr. Harris assigns homework, letters of gratitude, daily check-ins where we share one thing we appreciate about each other. I write about Mia's warmth with the kids, how she makes them feel safe. She writes about my steadiness, how I'm the rock she leans on. It feels forced at first, but it chips away at the wall between us. Christmas 2024 is a test. We fake cheer for the kids, decorating the tree with popcorn strings, unwrapping gifts under their excited squeals. Liam gets the dinosaur excavation kit he begged for. Sophie, a dollhouse with tiny furniture she arranges meticulously. But the shadow of betrayal looms, tainting every smile. We put on a show, singing carols, baking cookies, but at night, when the kids are asleep, the silence is deafening. New Year's Eve, we stay up, just the two of us, on the back porch with hot cocoa, the cold biting our fingers. We talk, really talk, for the first time in months. "I want us," Mia says, her eyes locked on mine. "I'll spend my life proving it." I nod, unsure, but willing to try. We make a pact. No more secrets, no more silence.
January 2025 brings small steps forward. We take the kids to the aquarium, a family outing that feels almost normal. Liam marvels at the sharks, his eyes wide. Sophie giggles at the penguins waddling on their icy slope. Mia and I hold hands, tentative, like teenagers on a first date. I start solo therapy, unpacking the anger that bubbles up at night, the nightmares where I see her with him, laughing in a way she hadn't with me. Humor becomes my lifeline. I joke to myself about affair-proofing our marriage with matching smartwatches that track our every move. Mia laughs when I tell her, a real laugh, the kind I haven't heard in months, and it feels like a tiny victory. Phone records arrive, confirming Mia's story. Heavy contact with Jake from February to August, then nothing. The October photo was a glitch, Claire admits, from Jake's messy cloud backups. Relief washes over me, but doubt lingers, a stubborn shadow I can't shake. I dive into research, books like Not Just Friends by Shirley Glass, podcasts on rebuilding trust, Reddit's Surviving Infidelity subreddit, where strangers share their stories. Some leave after betrayal, others stay and rebuild. Left and never looked back, one user writes. Stayed and we're stronger now, another says. It's a coin toss, no guarantees, just choices made in the dark. Spring 2025 feels like renewal. We start date nights again, simple things like picnics in the park, where we watch the kids chase fireflies, or dinners at the Italian place where we had our first date, reminiscing about those early days. We laugh more, though it's fragile, like glass that could shatter with one wrong move. We renovate the kitchen together, tearing out old cabinets, sanding wood until our arms ache, building something new as a metaphor for us. The kids notice the shift. Liam's grades climb, Sophie's drawings start showing smiling families again, not the abstract scribbles of winter. Intimacy returns, slow and vulnerable, like relearning a dance we used to know by heart. We talk daily, not just about schedules, but about needs, fears, dreams, things we'd let slip in the chaos of life.
By August 2025, we're not the same couple we were, but we're stronger, battle-scarred but standing. Forgiveness isn't a one-time act. It's a choice I make every day, waking up and deciding to stay, to fight. If it happens again, I'm out, no question. But for now, we choose love, messy and real, for our kids' laughter, for the life we've built, for the hope that we can be better. It's not a fairy tale, it's a work in progress, and that's enough. Thank you for listening to my story here on Reddit Whispers. What's the most unexpected life-changing decision you've made when everything seemed to fall apart? Share your thoughts in the comments, because you never know, yours might be the story someone needs to hear today.